Hello and welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome here to beautiful Duxford on this nice day, and welcome to the Aeroplane Heaven de Havilland DHC-1 T10 Chipmunk, or Chippy as it's affectionately known. This has just been released, and this is exactly the kind of aircraft that I love to have on this channel. It's got a propeller, which is always a good start, but it's a lovely old warbird brought in to replace the Tiger Moth as a basic trainer. Actually brought in 1946 was when the prototype first flew. A lot of people have got some very fond, happy memories of flying in this aircraft, whether they were learning to fly or flying as cadets, or perhaps civilians just flying it for fun. But it's a well-loved aircraft, so it's going to be very interesting to see what Aeroplane Heaven have done with it. Certainly from the exterior modelling point of view, it's beautiful. And there's the two different versions. We've got the bubble cockpit version, which de Havilland Canada produced for use in Canada. Had the bubble cockpit because, of course, they had Sabres and P-51, so bubble cockpit made more sense. Here in Britain, we had a version that was made under licence from de Havilland, but in the UK, and we had this straight, flat kind of cockpit style. Also important to add that the Canadian version with the bubble cockpit does have some slightly different instruments in there, so it's nice that they've given us these two versions, some extra switches or switches in different places. And also another feature that's in this is in the back, in case you want to do any kind of long distance, perhaps more modern navigation. There is a little switch that you can press, which I'll show you when we get in, where you can pop up some extra nav instruments, which is quite handy to have. So it's great. It's giving you that that kind of extra use for it, which is always, you know, quite handy. So what are we going to do in this flight? Well, you're going to strap in the back. I hope you've signed the insurance waiver. Don't worry, I'm a professional. We're going to take off, do some aeros, do a little bit of flying, come back down and do a landing, hoping to try and keep it as short as I can, but also give you a good idea of what the aircraft is about without waffling and going on forever. And another neat little thing, as you can see here, is you can press a switch, you can see the Gypsy Major engine, which is fantastic. Anyway, let's get flying. Rightio, here we are in the cockpit, ready to go. Very nice cockpit it is too, my kind of cockpit. Lots of lovely steam gauges and switches and simplicity, and no computers to program and all that kind of thing. Just a lovely little aeroplane. Fairly obvious controls if you're used to warbirds, although like every aircraft, it has its own little bits and bobs in different places. But nonetheless, it is rather lovely. Just out here, we've got our two fuel gauges in the wing. We've got red markers for when we are sitting on the ground and the aircraft is tilted, white markers for when we're in the air. Interestingly, for some reason, that tank is showing 0. That tank is showing half full. But I know that that tank is half full. So I'm not entirely sure what's happening there, but we'll see when we start up. And just to demonstrate that, as you can see, we've got fuel in here. Actually, if I just angle this right and start moving this around, I wonder if that will do anything. Not a sausage, it's staying at 0. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Right, so let's start running through it. Something I have found when I was having a look at the cockpit before, for some reason, I was well, not for some reason. I was looking to power it up, and you can see I've got some lights here, and for some reason it didn't seem to power up. I thought maybe down here we've got this switch, we've got ground power or flight. I thought, you know, maybe with ground power on, that we would have power to the aircraft, but we don't seem to have power to the aircraft. So what I'm going to do is just use a key bind here to turn the battery on. And then we see now we have got, we are illuminated. If I do that so you can actually see it. So I'm just using the key bind now, and you can see that it's turning the power on and off. So we've now got power on, but we have got the ground power connected as well. Just check. Yeah, there we go. We've got some illumination. Right, let's turn on the nav lights and the ident light as well. We will close. What they'll be doing here is, well, they'll be priming the engine on that side, so the ground crew don't do that. We can't actually do that in the sim, which I have to say is a little bit disappointing. But, you know, love a good engine start. And then let's close that. They'd also have loaded a cartridge in. Let's close the door mental block now. There we go. It's that one, isn't it? There we go. So that's closed. Right, everything's good there. So we've got some lights. We've got some brakes on. Let's double check that. Yeah, brakes are on. Ground power is set. Crack the throttle. Mixture is fully rich. Just something to be aware of in this aircraft. The lever in the sim works slightly differently to what you may have seen in other aircraft, whereby that position there would be rich, that position there would be lean. In this aircraft, it's the opposite, and certainly in the Mark II split from A to A, it's the same. So that's just something to be aware of. My physical mixture lever on my controller here is working correctly. So if I push it forward in the sim, it comes back, and I've got rich mixture. Not boasting, just saying. Right, so our altimeter setting is correct. Just something to point out here. We've got our lovely old P8 compass here. I did do a video some time ago, back in the early days when I was green and even more amateur than I am now, believe it or not. I did do a video about the this P8 compass, so I'll put a link to that below if you want to learn any more. Yeah, it's quite an interesting piece of kit. Right, okay, just having a quick look. Check everything is where it should be. Check that our carb heat is in cold. Yep, that's in cold. Everything's good to go. Let's have a quick control surface check. Rudder is good. Let's check the flaps. We've got lever down here. Everything is working fine there. Just want to quickly check, actually, have I set up the... Yeah, we've got the pilot weights in there. That's absolutely fine. Right, okay, shall we start her? Fuel on. Just checking mixture's rich again. Throttle is cracked. Everything is good. We shout clear prop at the top of our lungs, and then we pull this here. There we go. So, close that. Quick look at oil pressure. Oil pressure's good. No problems there. What I will do is just quickly, so I can get my head in the right place. So we'd rotate this. Hang on. Get in the wrong spot here. Come here. Okay, for some reason it won't rotate any further than that. Let's try this way. Basically we would line this up like so. So that the cross is pointing north, pretty much, and then we'd lock it, and then we'd have a look there, and it's, what's that, 335, and on here, there we go, so we're roundabouts. Right, is everything still looking tickety-boo? Is everyone happy? Let's get rid of the ground power now. Thank you very much, chaps. We don't need that anymore. Let's get some nav lights. Should have had those on before really, but I'd switched them off and then forgotten. Right, let's see if we can close the canopy. There we go. That's good to go. So, first thoughts on the sound. Now, aeroplane heaven aircraft tend to have slightly different sound sets to them. I must admit, not my cup of tea. I know that they've just released a new one for the Spitfire, so Be interested to see what that is like, but let's open this again. This one, well, you can hear it. It's better than I was expecting, I must admit, but it still has a I'm not sure. It's I'm very used to the Merlin in the Flying Iron Mark 9, which fills your ears and you can almost feel it. It's got a really nice powerful feeling, whereas this feels a little bit synthetic. Anyway, before I blow us up by over-revving the engine, let's have a quick look. Where are we on our temps now? Yeah, that's fine. Oil's nice and warm. Okay, let's do some taxiing, see what the ground handling is like. Quick check of the wind. We haven't really got much today, so we've got 2 knots coming from 270, so let's head over this way and we'll take the grass strip. So yeah, it's got that fairly. No, I mean they've improved it. It's got that kind of. Let me just get over here and then we can do it properly. I just want to see what the steering's like on the ground. Actually, no, that's not bad at all. I think you know how some Microsoft Flight Simulator aircraft have got this crazy kind of ground handling where it's almost like a GTA thing, whereas it feels a bit more dampened. It feels a little bit more realistic as you're kind of weaving around. This, by the way, is Duxford Complete from ChicoMick. It is stunning. It is beautiful. I will put a link below. I do so much flying here, as I know a lot of other people do. Right, let's just turn up. We'll take the grass runway as I said, so we'll turn off here. Quick look at everything. Make sure I'm not doing anything silly. Would I do something silly? Yes, I would. Check the instruments. Lovely sight that is, eh? Track AR is great in an aircraft like this. The fact that you can just hang your head out the window, and I'm really looking forward to using it in VR as well, actually. Okay, let's just check the brakes now. Brake action's quite nice, quite smooth. I like that. None of the kind of jerky wallop brakes on nose over. Right, we'll close the canopy, shall we? There we go. Right, all good to go. Quick check around. Mixture's rich. We haven't got a prop lever, so don't need to worry about that. Have I done anything silly? I don't think so. I think we're all good to go. Yeah. Flappage is where it should be. Okay, let's just reset the track IR then, because it went a bit doolally. Right, let's go. Bit of power. And smoothly start the roll. Just getting the measure of the rudder there. Oh, lovely. That was easy enough. Come back on the power a little bit. Beautiful. That is a nice sight. A silver wing with a bit of yellow and a roundel on it. Okay, now something you might have noticed there in the outside views is that for some reason the pilot seemed to disappear in when I selected drone view at one point. Both pilot and co-pilot were there when I was in. I'm trying to remember what what's it called? I'll have a look at the camera setting. I guess it's external, isn't it? And then when I went back to drone view, the pilot was in there, so I guess that's just one of those kind of early buggy things that will get worked out, a bit like that fuel gauge there again. I don't think it's something that I've done wrong, but I'm seeing fuel in that gauge. I'm not seeing anything in that gauge, but I know that we've got fuel in those tanks, so that could be an early little glitch. I don't know. We will see. Feels nice in the air though, I have to say. Quite sprightly. I've never flown a Chipmunk, so I've got nothing I can really compare it against. Not a massive fan of that engine sound, I have to say. I think it's probably better than I thought, but it still feels a little bit... I don't know, it's just kind of... You don't feel connected to it. Does that make sense to you? You don't feel... it feels quite distant, muted. Like it's in a plastic box. And you're hearing it through that. Maybe that's meant to simulate the fact you've got a bone dome on. Maybe I'm being a bit unkind there. I think outside it's definitely better. There you go, you see the pilot's disappeared again. But the sound outside is definitely better than inside, so maybe it is, maybe they are trying to simulate the sound with the bone dome on. Maybe I'm just too dumb to realise that. Okay, let's have a quick check how we're all doing with our tempies and everything. Quickly reset the truck R again. Right, let's try stall. So it stalls around about 47. Pulling back. Right, let's see what happens. Feel it starting to wallow. Pulling right back. Still quite happy to... Oh, there it goes. Okay, we're in. That felt quite nice. No complaints there. A quick check that everything's cool. Okay, shall we do some aeros down? Look at that. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? ChicoMick, I don't know if you'll ever watch this, but you're a legend, sir. Right. Do you know what I just realised? I remembered in the instructions, you are meant to have the carpet on hot air when you're doing this kind of thing. Certainly when you're cruising. Maybe not when you're doing aeros. I think the temperature has to be, unless the temperature's above 30 degrees, which it isn't. So we'll just follow that. Maybe it's when you're doing high altitude cruising, maybe. but normally you have to have carpet on. Actually, do you know what, to do these aeros, I'm going to take it off. Yeah, I'll take it off. We're not cruising high altitude. Okay, let's keep an eye on the speed. Don't want to rip our wings off. Doing about 133 knots, which is just above minimums for doing a loop. Get some power on now. So I'm going to do a loop, not too low. Just want to feel how it goes. It was not too difficult, quite stable. Felt okay. Let's come round. Try not to let that drop. Our speed now. Let's pour on some more beans. Let's try a half Cuban. Again, not too bad. Easy to control. Nice gentle in a roll. Throw it about a little bit. I once had the great pleasure of watching the station commander at RAF Lossiemouth do a display in a Chipmunk, and watching him throw it around was just absolutely amazing. Now, interestingly, I was getting that bit of stuttering there again. I don't know. I don't normally see that in the sim. I'm not necessarily going to blame that on the aircraft, but it could just be that there's something funny going on with my sim today. But that does feel a little bit strange. I don't think it's the aircraft. I'm not going to blame it on the aircraft, that would be churlish of me. But there's a bit of a stutter coming in today for some reason. There we go. Something I do like is that this doesn't have that, I think it was the spit, when you went into a dive, you know, when you were pulling over in the loop, the engine note would, you know, turn into a bit of a scream, and this doesn't do that, luckily. Let's build the speed up again. So it does feel a little bit more natural. Fuel gauge there still reading 0. It is such a pleasure to fly at Duxford here, it really is. I never get bored of it. Right, let's get some speed. Just want to check that dive engine note again. Okay, that's go. Yeah, I like that. It's not doing what the Spit did. It's holding a more even note, which is more realistic. This would be great fun flying in formation with other chipmunks, I think. I can see me doing that. Okay, let's do a landing. So, initial thoughts are nice and easy to fly. Great fun that it's fully aerobatic. Sound a little bit iffy, but certainly better than the Spitfire and the Mustang. But there is still that kind of not quite connected. It's not visceral. It doesn't grab your ears and say you've got an engine sitting in front of you and it's vibrating and driving you forward. Nice that you get the options of the two canopies if you want to try the bubble canopy. Would be nice to have a little bit more immersion in terms of the priming, wear and tear. You know, wear and tear we're seeing coming in now. That's a great thing to have in the sim. Be good to see that sort of thing coming in, so you really felt that you owned the aircraft. A bit of flappage, but a little bit high. Oh, hello. That was a nasty pause there. Yeah, I can see it's fun. I can see I will use it. I will use it, and I can see me flying with other people, flying the same aircraft. This is interesting. We're a little bit floaty. Oh, that was a bad landing. So we're going to go and do that again, aren't we? Yes, we are, because we bounced that one. It's because we weren't concentrating. Definitely would have been told off by the flying instructor for that very weak effort. Probably came in a bit too high and a bit too fast there. But that's one of the great things about when you get a new aircraft is experimenting a little bit, learning the ropes. What's the wind? About 4 knot crosswind. Let's bring the speed down, watch the height. Just get 1 notch of flaps. Bring it back round. That stuttering is really annoying and I don't know what's causing it. I've not seen that in the sim for a long time. Okay. I will do a check just afterwards and see if I see it with another aircraft. Well, that was a bit better. A bit softer. Let's get the flap up. Open the canopy, breathe that fresh air. There you go. Always nice to fly here at Duxford, and it's certainly nice to have another piston prop in the sim in the shape of this rather beautiful Chipmunk. As I say, they've certainly done a great job of making it look beautiful. You see, we seem to have a lot of ground crew with the old towing machines, where they've cropped up from. There we go. So we'll just do a quick shutdown. Okay, let's get the parking brake on. Interesting, so we can't click the parking brake. I can't, maybe. No, that's the trim. So I'll use the button. There we go. Parking brake is on. Right. There you go. We are down. So as I say, thank you ever so much for coming along. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope it was useful. And I look forward to seeing you again on the channel soon. Bye-bye now.